Hi, this is Shane Starr, and this morning I want to talk a little bit about typology and religion. You know, one of my favorite writers, Tolstoy, wrote about religion that it is one's ultimate concern. Beliefs established through faith and knowledge, which answers one's deepest questions and guides their actions. And when I think about that definition, I think it's a pretty good one, and it's all encompassing. You know, you can be a Christian and believe that. You can be one of any of the world's great religions and believe that. You could even be an atheist and have something fill that slot for you. And the subject of this video is almost an admission of how I've used typology to fill that slot for me. Is typology a religion for some of us? I've made videos where I alluded to the fact that people don't use typology enough. They just find their type and move on, and that leaves a lot to be desired. It leaves a lot of chips on the table, so to speak. But I want to look at the other side of that, going too deep, trying to find too much meaning in it. Basically, looking for answers not just about the self, but others and the world around us, that becomes an all-encompassing obsession that we use to guide our actions. And I think I'm guilty of that in typology. Moving on, I'm thinking, what are some of the likenesses of typology and religion? Of course, there are some places where they won't overlap, but I think of things that make sense but can't be scientifically proven, and instantly some things come to mind in typology. And this isn't arguing against these notions. I'm not saying that the things I'm about to talk about don't exist. I'm merely saying that they're not scientifically proven with mathematical certainty the way we can prove a theorem or look at the laws of physics. So typology articles of faith, I will call them, include the following. First, that there's 16 types. Why not 10? Why not 12? Why not 24? Why not 32? Objective personality is broken theirs down into 512. Who's to say that there's 16 distinct possibilities and no more and no less? I think it's a good number. I like it. I use it. So this isn't me railing against it. I'm just pointing out the simple fact that 16 types, or 9 if you're talking Enneagram, it's an arbitrary number. It's a number that someone figured out. With the 13 or 14 billion people on this planet, you could get every legitimate person of any one of the 16 types, get a party of a couple thousand of them, and I bet you're going to have very different individuals. Some more extroverted, some more introverted, some more intuitive, some more sensing, some led more by their thoughts and thinking patterns, others more by their feelings, and so on and so forth. You're not going to find cookie cutter people just because they're the same type. Now, this might be obvious to many of you, but I think a lot of us, including myself at times, lose sight of this. We rationally know that to be true, but we sort of forget it on our typology journey. Next, that there's 8 functions, not more, not less. So yes, I believe in extroverted and introverted directions of feeling, thinking, intuition, and sensing. But who's to say there aren't other categories that are just as meaningful or important? We don't know. You cannot open someone's brain and look at different electrons firing off or different parts being used and attribute that specifically to a function. With all due respect to Dario Nardi and his work, this still falls short of hard science. I'm not saying that's false. I'm just saying that, like many aspects of religion or philosophy, they seem to make sense. They make enough sense for some, like myself, to believe in, but you cannot prove them the same way you can prove a mathematical theorem. So 8 functions sounds good, but we don't know that for sure. Another notion to add as a footnote to my last point, function axis. Some people are big thinkers and big feelers. They're hard to type. Some people use a lot of intuition and their sensing. I think I've exclusively been typed as a sensing type, yet I use analogies and figurative language more than any human being I've ever met. Does that mean I'm really a closet intuitive? I don't think so, but whatever function analogies fall under, I'm pretty damn good at that. And I don't see how I can just, because I'm a sensing lead, whether it's SE like I've been officially typed or SI like I type myself, well, that means that intuition is at the bottom. So people who can't even follow me or my analogies, oh, they must have better intuition than me because I have it fourth. I don't think so. I'm not buying it. Okay. I get why we have function axis. That's how we come to typing. But when you get into axis, you necessarily make a weak function from a strong one. And I don't think that's true by virtue of my point I made about myself. The next thing, type unchanging through life. I know this is probably the most controversial one, but what scientific proof is there that one's type can't change? If I gather people who knew me as a child and what I was like as a little boy, 5, 6 years old, and what I was like as a teen growing up, becoming a surfer, professional surfer later, then my college career, that's a third stage of my life, a teaching career, that's another one, and then currently in property management and real estate. Each person who has met me in that stage of my life would type me differently, without any exception. I've done it. I've done the homework. I've been doing this for 3 years. I've interviewed people, family members, friends, longtime friends, new work colleagues. They type me according to those stages of my life that they knew me. Does that mean that I was a different type during those times? No, but it does make me put on the brakes when we talk about one being one type for life, and through growth and regression, you're still that same type. You're just a different version of that type. Well, I would say, well, then maybe a different version of a type is in itself a different type. Perhaps a more emotional version of an ESTP could be seen as an ESFP, or a more introverted ESTP could be looked at as an ISTJ, or one that is in their conscience working on themselves. They'll look very much like an INFJ, but they will really be one type, you'll say. How do you know that? How can you scientifically prove that? You cannot. For the pragmatic uses of typology, I don't think we should go back to how we were as a teenager. Your problems as a teenager or in your early 20s would not, or at least should not, be the same as your problems now. I know mine aren't. The very advice that one could give me that would help my life the most when I was 16 would be meaningless to me at age 25, which would still be meaningless to me now. The things I needed the most work on even 5 years ago are not a part of my life now, which means whatever someone looking at my life or interviewing me thinking, what does this person lack? What does he need? The answer would be very different. And therefore, I think I would be typed differently now than I would before. Is that to claim that we change types? Not exactly. I'm just claiming that we should hold off on this article of typology faith that says without a shadow of a doubt one is the same type for life. You don't know that. You can believe it just like I believe in God with all my heart and soul, and I have my own reasons to back that. You can think that way about one's type unchanging. I will grant you that. But you cannot know it for sure. And this leads me to my next point about religion and typology is I think at the root of it, typology is based on a deterministic mechanical universe, meaning God or the notion of God doesn't really come into it. And that's why one's type would be unchanged, because it would just be cause and effect throughout the timeline. No real place for free will. And I think objective personality has touched on this. To their findings, it's more and more mechanical, which I think they used to be Christian and now they've moved away from that. That's their business. For my part, I'm just pointing out the fact that typology in general seems to presuppose a godless, mechanicalistic view of the universe. That doesn't mean if you practice typology you're bad or evil or necessarily atheist or agnostic. I'm just saying the worldview is such that we are what we are and we can't really change it. We can adjust our behavior, but not past a certain point. I'm of the opposite side. I think we can change who we are. I believe in free will. I believe in being born again. I believe that you can change who you are. And I think if we were bringing in science, I would say peer-reviewed journals would be more on my side on that point than not. Although they do use the big five as their determining typology system, the results can still be applied here. So when we think of typology in religion, I think it's helped me in my own life. It's like a ladder that got me to the point I'm at now. And at the plateau I'm at now, I need something more meaningful, deeper, that will help me grow further and help my relationship with others more and give me more of an infinite ultimate meaning. And that's a place typology can't go. I'm not throwing the ladder away. It's a cool ladder. I'll keep using it to climb up and down for fun, and I'll keep doing typology videos. They'll probably have more of a religious or philosophical bent moving forward from here. Those kinds of videos seem to have more views for me than my other ones anyway. But I would say typology has helped me renew my faith, actually, and that's a wonderful, great thing. But I think it's a vehicle that has taken me as far as it can on my own personal self-growth journey. And hopefully you use it to your own benefit. And that's all I got for today.